Welcome back everyone. In the previous lecture we had set it up so that we could use our keyboard to move between the menu selection options. Now we're going to add some juice to the menu by adding sound effects when you make your selection, move between selections, and some background music. Right, so let's go back to the menu event screen and add in the music that we need. So when the menu starts, that's when we want the music to play. So remember, all sound and music I've now provided in the resource folder. Let's right click here and add a group. Let's call it start menu. When the menu starts up, we will be playing the music. So we'll add an event to start menu, system, on start of layout. Make sure it's part of that. On start of layout, we want to play audio. Now, in order to play audio, we need to have the audio plugin. So we're going to come to our plugins folder, right click, add new object. We're going to search for audio, and there it is, audio. Play sound effects and music from files you've imported. Insert that. Now audio is part of our plugins. We can add music and sound effects. So now if we add an action and we go to our audio plugin, we can play any sound we need. Now we don't have any sounds, so we need to go and import some sounds. So before we do this, let's move to our music folder and let's right click and say import music. And we can drag and drop our music files here. So go to the music folder I've given you and let's drag in the start menu music. So the file is named start menu, drag it in, import, and now we have start menu in our music folder. So now we can come back here, add our action, plugins, audio, play, start menu is there. And what we'll do is we'll have start menu looping. So it will loop. That is the standard. That doesn't mean there's zero volume. It means it is playing at the standard level. If we increase this number, the decibels will increase, and if we drop it, the decibels will decrease. Now we are going to tag it, and I'll show you why. We're going to tag it as start menu. Done. So it will now start playing as the game goes. And we only want the background menu music to play if it's not already playing, because Construct is quite able to play multiple audio files at once. So you could have your start menu background music end up multiple copies of that music playing on top of one another. So what we're going to do here is add a condition, and we want to say the audio is playing, and we're going to invert this. Oh, sorry, I pressed else. We're going to invert that. Delete that, and we're going to say if audio, and it's actually not is any playing, it's is tag playing, so it's start menu. Done. So on the start of layout, our start menu music will only play if it's not already playing. Okay, and you can already test this and see. Okay, now the other thing we want to do is, as we make our selections between the menu options, we want to play our little sound effect as we move between the different options. So let's add another group here. So we can just press G on the keyboard. Let's call our group keyboard selections. Okay, and what we'll do is add an event, and we'll choose our keyboard, and we'll say when you press enter, it's going to play our little menu selected sound effect. Now this will be in the sound effects folder. So this is on enter pressed. So this is on key pressed, and this will be enter. Notice that enter is selected from here. It can't be detected. Done. So on the enter key pressed, we want to go to audio and play a sound effect. Now we need to import that sound effect first. So if we go to our sounds folder, right click on it, import sounds, we can drag and drop. So let's go back to our sounds folder that I've given you. And one of the effects I've added there is menu selected. So let's drag that in, import, and now we have menu selected. So when we press enter, we're going to play our audio is going to play our menu selected. We are not going to loop it because it's not a sound we want permanently playing. So we're not going to loop it, and we will tag it because this is our menu selected sound. Done. And that will play when you actually select one of the menu items. Right. So once that sound is finished playing, we actually want to go to the next screen. So we'll have to make sure to do something when that happens. But for the moment, let's also just do the sounds that play as you move between options. So let's just make this part of the group. We can then close these. Here are our positions. So as you move between options, we also want a sound to play. Now we want to make sure that as you move between the selections, it plays our little sound effect. We don't need a tag for that. And this sound effect is called button selected. So we're going to have to go to sounds, right click, import a sound, and we can drag and drop from that sounds folder I gave you, button selected, and import it. And now we have a little sound for selecting the buttons or moving between options. So let's just add in here. Let's add an action, audio, play, button selected, not looping, we don't need to tag it. Done. And I'm just going to copy and paste that to all the others because it's going to do. Okay, now we can test this. So when we run it, so notice when we played the menu, it just constantly looped through the button selected noise. You could hear it going krrrr, right, which means it's triggering all the time. So it's, if the menu item is 1, even though the sound is not looping, it keeps triggering the sound. So it keeps pressing it. So we don't want any of these to trigger more than once. So there's a special system event that allows you to only trigger an event once. Okay, and we need to include that as a condition on all of these. Okay, so I'm going to press C for add a condition. I'm going to go to system and I'm going to search for trigger. Right, so we are looking for trigger once while true, special condition. Okay, trigger once while true. Make a continuously true event, trigger only once. Okay, very important. Place as the last condition. Okay, we want that. Right, so what's going to happen here is menu item is 1. Okay, so this thing happens if menu item is 1, we set the position to that and we play this audio. Now this menu item is always going to be 1 as long as we are at this position. So the audio is just going to repeat. We don't want it to repeat, so we only want it to trigger once. Okay, so we're going to add that to all of our menu items so that we don't get that repeating noise. So conditions, system, search for trigger, and we only want to trigger it once. Right, now let's see if that's fixed the problem for us. Let's play. Background. So next step is to move to our level and start actually building a level. I'll see you then.